Hello everyone, and welcome back to American Roots Academy. So in this video, I want to do a little bit of a review of a product, a book that I think is an absolute must-have, must-read for any Christian or anyone looking to get into American politics or history in general at all. And that is none other than, of course, The Founders Bible by WallBuilders. WallBuilders is one of the organizations in my life that has greatly inspired and influenced me. It's actually because of WallBuilders that I grew a deeper respect for American history, early America, our founding era, and also government and politics, whereas before I didn't really care that much about it. After learning about WallBuilders and consuming a ton of their content, I love America, I love her story, I love her foundations, I love everything. So real quick, before I talk about the Founders Bible, at the top of this is a little description of WallBuilders and David Barton and who they are. So I'm just going to read that to you real quick, just so you guys know what this organization is. David Barton is the founder and president of WallBuilders, a national pro-family organization that presents America's forgotten history and heroes with an emphasis on our moral, religious, and constitutional heritage. He is the author of numerous best-selling books based largely upon the extensive research from his massive library of over 100,000 original source documents from the founding era, one of the largest private collections in the nation. Considered an expert in historical and constitutional issues, Barton has been described as America's historian by a national news organization, and Time magazine called him a hero to millions. So there you go, that's WallBuilders. Now, if you watch any of their videos, they say that their name actually comes from the book of Nehemiah in the Bible. I think it's like 2:17 or somewhere around there, where it says, come and let us rebuild the wall so that we may no longer be a reproach. The idea behind it is, if you know the story of Nehemiah, Jerusalem was destroyed, the walls were destroyed, and Nehemiah was commissioned to basically go start this big old construction project to rebuild Jerusalem's walls, to rebuild what was previously torn down. And that's essentially what their goal is for American history, is a lot of our history has been torn down. A lot of it's lies, a lot of it has lost its context, a lot of it is incredibly biased. And so WallBuilders, their work is to rebuild what is being torn down as far as American history and government education. And also, like the description said, they have one of the largest collections of original source documents. They actually do tours of just a very small percentage of all the stuff that they have. I've actually been there, and it's absolutely incredible and fascinating. They are the best of the best, and you can't get better than original source, right? So they're very trustworthy. They're experts in their field. And one of my favorite things, I own a lot of stuff from them. Actually, this shelf back here is full of nothing but WallBuilders stuff. But as far as Bibles go, they do sell their Founders Bible, and this is one of my favorite Bibles I own. And what it is it's and I'll show you this, it's a Bible, but all throughout it are a ton of different articles and different things that show you and tell you where in the Bible our founders got their ideas for how to set up and build and run this nation. America was founded on the Bible. A lot of people try to say that it's not, but it was. So, Founders Bible. I have their website pulled up just so I can give some basic information. They actually have 3 different editions or versions. They have their hardback version, which is just the base version. They have a leather soft Bible, and then they have an heirloom edition. That is the one I have. It's currently in a case. As for prices, they're gonna be a little bit pricey. I'll warn you right off the bat. For their basic hardback Bible, that's going to cost you $80. Their leather soft is $100, and their heirloom is $140. This right here is $140. Now, when I got mine, I actually ordered 2 of them because I also wanted to get one from my brother a few years ago for Christmas, and just 2 of these cost well over $200. So they are a little bit pricey. However, I can tell you the price is absolutely worth it, okay? Now, additionally, this is something I think they do for all of their books, but for an additional $10 and a little bit of delayed shipping, you can actually have your book signed by David and or Tim Barton or both. I actually have one of my other books on the shelf back here, their first American Stories book, signed by both David and Tim Barton. I paid that additional $10. So I have the heirloom edition. It comes in a nice little case thing that you can slip out. It's got gold foil along the sides. You can see mine is actually starting to rub off because of how often I use it, because this is exactly where my hand goes when I pull the Bible out of its case, and you can also see where my middle finger is also starting to rub off the gold. But it's got gold foil imprints on the front and side, nothing on the back. Also, the pages have like that gold foil outline thing, whatever it's called. Pages have a rounded corner, so it's not like regular book paper, like sharp square. It's a rounded corner, or a border radius if you're into a software person. But no, the size of the book, it's not giant, but it's not small. You can see it's about the size of my head. And you open it. Be careful though, because the pages are very thin. We got thin pages. As for, just some text, here I just opened up to a random page. You can see text isn't super small. It's also two column per page in the Bible, and then a third column down the middle for different references and different things like that. You can also see here it's got the Declaration of Independence. But yeah, no, as far as different articles, or I guess I'll start here first. At the very front, you've got a couple different pages. You have ancestors of interest. You flip the page and you can fill out a family tree. You flip the page again and you can fill out, what is this? Significant family events. So yeah, it basically everything that you would expect out of an heirloom edition. Mine, I use it so much, it's actually falling apart. I need to get a new one. So yeah, some of the binding on some of the first few pages, as you can see, it has come off, but this isn't anything that has happened super quickly. This has happened from me having had this thing and used it for probably a couple years now. But no, if we flip now over to the table of contents, you can see just how much content is actually in here. So if I keep going, yeah, so you can see here's the contents, the table of contents. You can see you've got some stuff just at the start. You have the Old Testament and New Testament with some additional stuff in the middle, and then a couple things at the very end. So it is a Bible, but if you immediately flip to the next page, you get the index of articles. This is all of the different articles that are written and interspersed all throughout the book. You've got the page number and the name of the article. Now, this doesn't just span one page, but it spans, oh, there's my pages falling out. It spans 2 pages. 2 pages in a table of contents worth of articles. So basically anything just about that you can think of is gonna be in here. You've got all kinds of different things from, learning from American history, and again, like how our founders set up things for this nation, like taxes and businesses and schools and freedom of religion, and just a whole bunch of really good stuff. And a lot of it is also incredibly practical and useful. So you can use this Bible. It's absolutely excellent for things like Bible study, personal study. If you want to better yourself and live more like a biblical Christian would, you can read these articles and get a better idea and understanding for not only how our founders lived, but also how you yourself can also better live as a Christian. And so it's really good. Yeah, I'm just flipping around through here. Oh, and also something else that it has all throughout are little mini biographies of various people of our founders. This is James Madison right here. James Madison, you can see his name, when he was born and when he died, and then a little mini biography that tells you a little bit about James Madison. And yeah, you can see here one of the articles I just randomly flipped to, and it's talks about Genesis, what is that, 1821? Or no, Exodus 1821. And so this article, America's political form of government, you can see it comes from this verse, and then it's an article that talks about it. It talks about this art specifically. It talks about the different types of government. It's got tons of quotes from our founders. It's got nice little artwork. And then at the end of each article is where they got all their information. It's a list of their sources. So whenever you see a quote, you'll see a small number at the end of it. Well, you find that number over here, and they'll tell you where that quote came from. Now, again, bear in mind that because of the work that WallBuilders does, all of these sources are original source, meaning it's coming directly from things that our founders wrote or said, or newspaper articles, or anything from the actual time period from our founders ourselves, not some modern history textbook that quotes another textbook that quotes some random biased news journalist. No, this is all original source. And again, you cannot get better than original source. And there are just tons of articles in here. It gets a little bit, and this is just a personal thing, it gets a little bit annoying in the New Testament because the New Testament is so small and there's so many articles that the ratio of pages that actually contain the Bible to pages that actually contain reading articles is a little bit unbalanced, but I think that's a good problem to have. So like if you're in the New Testament and you're trying to find the next page of the Bible, whatever book you're in, you're probably going to be flipping for a couple pages before you actually get to where the Bible actually continues reading. So there's that. And additionally, let me just flip to the back here. Something else that this Bible has, now I don't know if all of their Bibles have this. I can only speak for the heirloom edition because that's what I have. At the back of the book, it contains our nation's founding documents, right? So I can flip the page, if I can do that successfully, and then it starts off with the Declaration of Independence. So you can read through that, and then it goes through the Constitution, and then the Bill of Rights, and later amendments. And then at the very back of the book is a list of maps of different Bible lands and routes that people in the Bible traveled, which is all stuff that you would expect to see out of a modern Bible, are different maps and various different things. So Founders Bible, absolutely incredible book. One of my favorite Bibles if you're into American history, government politics, or if you're a Christian looking to get into American history or whatnot. I recommend WallBuilders as a source in general, but their Founders Bible is an absolute must-have. It is an absolute must-read. You will learn a lot about America's founding. You'll learn a lot about what the Bible says about government and society, and you will learn a lot about how to be a better Christian yourself. So that's just what I wanted to say in this video, is just kind of reviewing the book, telling you what it is, and essentially giving you this Bible as a book recommendation. So that's all for the, and WallBuilders, they're not paying me to say any of this. They're not sponsored, none of that. This is purely on my own volition. That's what I have to say about the Founders Bible. So thank you for watching, and I will see you in the next video. Take care.